Opening hook. Imagine this. Someone insults you. They push all the right buttons, trying to provoke a reaction. Your heart races, your fists clench, and you feel that familiar urge to lash out. But what if, in that moment, instead of reacting, you stayed silent? What if you chose to pause, to stay composed, to not let the situation control you? It might feel uncomfortable, even unnatural at first. But in that silence, a hidden power emerges, one that most people overlook. True strength is not in reacting to every challenge or provocation, but in knowing when to remain silent and in control of yourself. The power of silence. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world that constantly encourages us to speak up, defend ourselves, and react to every provocation, silence is seen as weakness. But in reality, silence is one of the most powerful tools we have. It's not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of control, wisdom, and inner strength. When we choose silence, we take a step back from the emotional chaos around us. We don't allow external forces, other people's anger, frustration, or criticism, to dictate how we feel or how we behave. In that moment, silence becomes our shield, our strength, and our power. True strength comes from mastering ourselves, not reacting to the world around us. It's about recognizing that not every situation requires a response, and not every challenge demands a reaction. In silence, we regain control over our emotions and actions, allowing us to respond thoughtfully, with intention, rather than impulsively. Silence as emotional mastery. When we react in haste, we give away our power. We let our emotions, fear, anger, frustration, take over, and in the process, we lose control. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment only to regret it later? Or lashed out at someone, only to feel drained afterward? In those moments, you're reacting, not acting with purpose. In contrast, silence allows us to break free from this cycle of impulsive reactions. It gives us the space to reflect, to think, and to choose our response. Instead of being governed by our emotions, we remain grounded, and in that stillness, we become more powerful. By mastering silence, we stop allowing external events to dictate our emotional state. We choose our response, whether it's a calm word, a thoughtful action, or simply no reaction at all. The ability to stay silent, especially when provoked, is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of emotional mastery. The illusion of reacting. We've all been told that reacting quickly is a sign of strength, that standing up for ourselves, defending our honor, or proving our point is the best way to assert control. But this belief is an illusion. Reacting quickly and impulsively often leads to regret, confusion, and conflict. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of emotions, but true power is found in restraint. Every time we react emotionally, we surrender control. We allow our feelings to take over, and in doing so, we become vulnerable to manipulation, miscommunication, and unnecessary conflict. Silence, on the other hand, is a powerful form of resistance. It says, "I will not be moved by the chaos around me." When you choose silence, you are in control. You create space between stimulus and response. And in that space, you can choose how to react with wisdom, clarity, and intention. Conclusion of Section 1. The real strength doesn't lie in how fast you can react to life's challenges. It lies in your ability to stay calm, composed, and silent when everything around you is demanding a response. In silence, you find your true power. You find the strength to rise above the noise and chaos, to stay grounded, and to respond with purpose. True strength is found in silence, not in reaction. The next time life tests you, remember this: silence is not your weakness. It is your greatest strength. Opening hook. Think about the last time you were pushed to react. Someone cut you off in traffic, a colleague took credit for your idea, or a friend said something hurtful. How did you respond? Did you react immediately, maybe even angrily, to prove yourself? If you did, you're not alone. In fact, most of us are conditioned to believe that reacting quickly and loudly is the way to handle life's challenges. But what if I told you that every time you react impulsively, you're not taking control of the situation? Instead, you're falling into a trap. The more you react, the more you lose. It's easy to think of reaction as strength, but in reality, it's the opposite. Every reaction is a moment when you let something outside of yourself determine your emotional state. And that's where your true power slips away. The illusion of control. We often believe that reacting means we're in control. We think that by snapping back at someone, defending our position, or voicing our opinions immediately, we're asserting power. But reaction is the exact opposite of control. It's the surrendering of it. When we react, we're allowing external forces to dictate our emotions. The person who insults us, the situation that frustrates us, or the stress that overwhelms us, each of these things takes charge of our responses. Our immediate reaction often comes from fear, insecurity, or anger, not from a place of clarity or wisdom. This makes us vulnerable. If you think about it, a reaction is an impulse, a quick, often emotionally driven response that happens before we have a chance to think things through. You might raise your voice, say something you don't mean, or act impulsively. And in that moment, you're giving away your power to that external influence. Why reaction doesn't serve you. When we react, we lose our ability to act intentionally. There's a big difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is automatic. It's something you do without thinking, typically driven by emotions. A response, however, is measured. It's a conscious choice to engage with a situation in a way that aligns with your values and goals. Every time we react without thinking, we risk creating unnecessary drama, misunderstanding, or regret. How many times have you found yourself caught in an argument that you didn't want to be in, or said something you didn't mean, only to feel worse afterward? This is the cost of reaction. It takes away your ability to control the outcome. The power of restraint. Here's where silence comes in. When you stop reacting and give yourself a moment of pause, you regain control. Silence creates space between what happens to you and how you respond. This space is where your true power lies. In those moments of restraint, you can evaluate the situation calmly, make a choice about how you want to respond, and avoid being swept up by the emotional tides. The ability to stop yourself from reacting instantly is a superpower. It allows you to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Imagine a situation where someone criticizes you. Instead of firing back, you pause. You take a deep breath. You think. In that moment of silence, you decide how to respond. Maybe you choose to remain silent and walk away. Maybe you calmly express your point of view without anger or frustration. Either way, you've regained control of the situation because you chose how to engage with it. The emotional drain of reaction. Reacting is emotionally exhausting. Every time you let external circumstances dictate your emotions, you deplete your energy. When you react, your body enters a state of fight or flight. It's a stress response that drains your resources, and it doesn't stop there. After the immediate response, you're left feeling unsettled, frustrated, and perhaps even drained. But when you choose silence, you preserve your energy. You don't let the situation take anything from you. Instead, you hold your ground and you choose your response from a place of calm and clarity. Silence doesn't just protect your emotions, it preserves your energy and mental clarity for what truly matters. Conclusion of Section 2. The trap of reaction is one of the most common pitfalls we fall into. It feels natural to respond quickly, to defend ourselves, or to prove our point in the heat of the moment. But this automatic response only weakens us. It's in the silence, in the moments where we don't react immediately, that our true power emerges. When you stop reacting, you take back control of your emotional state and your life. You begin to respond with intention, rather than being ruled by impulse. This shift is the first step toward mastering your own strength and discovering the quiet power of silence. Opening hook. Have you ever stopped to consider how different your life could be if you weren't constantly reacting? If you could pause, reflect, and respond, rather than being swept away by the waves of emotion that often overwhelm you? In every moment of our lives, we have a choice. We can react impulsively, like most people do, or we can choose to respond with purpose and clarity. The art of response is what sets the calm, composed individuals apart from the rest. It's not about suppressing your emotions or ignoring the world around you. It's about controlling the narrative instead of letting the narrative control you. The real strength lies in how you choose to respond, not how quickly you react. The difference between reaction and response. The key difference between a reaction and a response lies in time and awareness. When you react, your response is automatic, often driven by emotion, and it's usually rooted in an unconscious need to protect or defend yourself. Reactions are knee-jerk, impulse-driven, and typically lead to regret. On the other hand, a response is deliberate. It's thoughtful and intentional. When you respond, you give yourself the space to consider your options and make a choice based on your values, not your emotions. A response is not governed by the heat of the moment. It is born from a place of wisdom and self-awareness. Think about the difference in how you feel after reacting versus responding. When you react, you might feel that temporary rush of satisfaction, but it quickly dissipates, leaving you with a sense of emptiness. When you respond thoughtfully, however, you feel grounded and empowered. There's no regret, no emotional backlash, just the satisfaction of knowing you acted with intention. The power of pause. One of the most powerful tools in mastering the art of response is the simple act of pausing. In moments of potential reaction, the pause creates a gap between stimulus and response. It's in this gap where your power lies. By taking that brief moment to breathe, center yourself, and reflect, you gain the opportunity to respond in a way that aligns with your true self. A pause doesn't mean you're being passive or weak. It means you are taking control of your emotional state. You are refusing to be driven by automatic, knee-jerk reactions. By taking a moment to pause, you allow your inner wisdom to guide you, rather than being swept away by external circumstances or emotional impulses. Next time you feel the pressure to react, take a step back and breathe. That moment of silence will give you the clarity you need to respond with intention and purpose. The pause creates a space where you can choose how you want to show up in the world. Responding from a place of strength. When you respond instead of react, you are coming from a place of inner strength. You are not allowing the situation or the person in front of you to dictate your emotions or actions. You are in control. This ability to respond is a direct reflection of your emotional intelligence. It shows that you are aware of your feelings, but not controlled by them. A response doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It can be as simple as choosing to remain calm in the face of provocation. It could mean expressing your thoughts clearly and confidently, without raising your voice or becoming defensive. Or, it might even be choosing to walk away from a situation altogether, refusing to engage in a negative exchange. Responding from a place of strength means making decisions that reflect your true self. It means acting with integrity and purpose, rather than being a slave to your impulses. The reward of mastery. The more you practice responding instead of reacting, the more you build your emotional strength. It becomes a habit, a way of living, and soon it will feel natural to remain calm, composed, and in control, no matter what life throws at you. The reward of this mastery is immense. You'll find that your relationships improve, your stress levels decrease, and you experience a greater sense of inner peace. You no longer feel like a puppet to the whims of your emotions or the actions of others. Instead, you become the master of your emotional world. And it's in that mastery that you discover true strength. Conclusion of Section 3. The art of response is one of the most powerful tools you can cultivate. It's not about suppressing your emotions or avoiding conflict. It's about choosing how you engage with the world around you. In the space between stimulus and response, you find your power. By mastering the art of response, you stop reacting out of impulse and begin acting with intention, clarity, and strength. This is the true mastery of silence, not the absence of action, but the presence of intentional action. And in that presence, you discover your most powerful self. Opening hook. We've explored how silence isn't weakness, but strength. We've learned that reactions are often illusions of control, and how pausing and responding with intention can transform not only our emotions, but also our entire life. But there's one more truth we must uncover: the profound impact of embracing this silence and mastery on your life. What happens when you fully accept the power of silence? When you no longer feel the need to react, to prove yourself, or to fight every battle? You begin to experience a deeper connection with your true self, one that transcends the surface level of constant interaction and emotional upheaval. You discover a reservoir of strength, peace, and clarity that was always there, just waiting for you to tap into it. The freedom of silence. The moment you embrace the power of silence, you free yourself from the shackles of constant emotional reactivity. No longer will you be a slave to the whims of others or the chaos of the world around you. Silence is not about shutting down or withdrawing. It is about rising above, refusing to be swept into the drama and noise. In silence, there is freedom. You no longer feel compelled to prove yourself, to defend every word, or to react to every stimulus. You are not defined by the opinions of others, the judgments you face, or the challenges that come your way. You are defined by the strength of your response, by the deliberate, thoughtful way you choose to engage with the world. This is true freedom, the ability to stand in your own power, undisturbed by external forces, and to choose how to respond in a way that aligns with your values and vision. When you embrace silence, you create the space to connect deeply with yourself, your purpose, and your inner strength. The ripple effect of inner peace. As you begin to master the art of silence and response, something incredible happens. You begin to influence the world around you. The people in your life will notice the shift. They'll see your calm, your composure, and your strength. You won't need to argue, defend, or prove anything. Your presence will speak volumes. This inner peace becomes contagious. It spreads to others. When you stop reacting and start responding, you begin to set the tone for those around you. People will find themselves drawn to your calm, to your ability to remain unshaken in turbulent situations. And as they witness your strength, they will begin to mirror it. This is how true leadership works, not through force, but through the power of your presence. The more you embrace silence and control over your emotional responses, the more you empower others to do the same. Your journey toward mastery. The path to mastering silence and response isn't a one-time event. It's a journey. It requires practice, patience, and a deep commitment to yourself. But every step you take toward silence is a step toward becoming the most powerful version of yourself. With each choice to pause and respond with intention, you grow stronger. With each instance of emotional restraint, you gain clarity and wisdom. You become more aware of your inner state and less affected by external chaos. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Until one day you realize that silence is no longer something you do. It's simply who you are. Conclusion. The power is within you. In the end, silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of power. It is the ability to rise above the noise, to maintain your peace, and to choose how you engage with life. It is in the moments of silence that you tap into your true strength, the strength to respond with purpose, to lead with composure, and to live with peace. The power was always within you. It's never been about reacting. It's always been about choosing how to respond. As you embrace silence, you unlock your potential and discover a level of strength that can never be shaken. The next time life challenges you, remember this: silence is not your weakness. It is your greatest power. And in that silence, you will find the strength to navigate any storm that comes your way. Closing CTA. Take a moment today. Pause and remember. True strength is found in the silence, not in the reaction. Embrace it and watch how your world begins to change.